So if you could tell me a little bit about what it was like before, particularly in the marketing side, maybe even the operational side, since we've done some staffing, but a little bit was like before, and then kind of what it's like now, if you could just kind of frame the two.
Okay. Well, so when I first contacted you before that, we were really struggling with our marketing. Don't have anybody on staff who really understands marketing or has skill in that area. We've tried that before. I actually hired a lady who had some good skill in it, but we really stumbled. We've worked with several different local marketing people. We actually had another distant marketing firm working with us. And in all those cases, we had some progress. Everybody's been able to produce something, drive some foot traffic in the door. It's been really nice for us working with you and your team in that we've got it all pulled together now. You are our marketing people. You're doing our website. You're updating our website. And so when we have marketing issues, we just simply, my staff or I call you or Annika and say, okay, here's what we need to do. And you guys pull it together and you do all the background work and get it out there. And I see results coming in from Facebook. I see what you're up to. And after the fact, which is what I prefer. If I if I have to be involved at every step, I tend to bog things down because I don't really have time to be doing that. And I also don't have the skill to do it anyway, so there's no point inserting me. So what I've pretty much done with you guys is just say, hey, go do it, and then we'll see the results. We've certainly seen an increase in our birthday parties, and that's one thing that you guys have been focusing on. And that really started to take. In fact, one of my managers said, John, can we tone this down a little bit because we've got too many parties all at the same time. And so, that's a bit of a challenge, obviously, because in order to successfully do those parties, you've got to staff for them. But we're having walk-in parties, which is shocking. One day we had 5 walk-in birthday parties.
Really?
I mean,
wow.
Talk about last. And so that's been a bit of a challenge for our staff, is you can't have a number of staff standing around wondering if somebody's going to walk in the door just in case. So that's been a bit of a challenge, but so far it's looking really good. And I really appreciate the way you guys just take ownership. And we come up with an idea, we discuss it, or you come up with ideas, we discuss, and then you launch. It's been really good for it. So.
Yeah, no, really happy to hear that. One of the things I learned early on is that if I'm just like kind of brainstorming ideas and putting it back on the owner, I'm really just creating more work for them and creating a job for them. It's not as helpful.
And I don't need that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That has really been, I'm glad you said that, because that has really been our marketing challenge as I've worked with local people, or I say local, I mean local or regional, but it has always been required too much involvement from me. So they come up with a plan, we discuss it, they say, well, what about this and this? But we've had to be too involved in actually pulling it off, and you guys do that really well, where you cut my involvement. Now, some people might not want that; they might want to have more hands-on. I recognize that we don't have the skill in marketing, and so why would I want to be hands-on? I need somebody who knows what they're doing to do this work.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
one thing you're doing for us is you're giving us economies of scale that we can't get on our own, because we are a single center. So that means I have to staff an individual for each area of expertise if we're going to do it in-house. And to try to staff somebody for marketing and do it all from scratch doesn't really make sense, or at least it's very costly. And what it has been for us is not necessarily so costly as ineffective. So with you're really bringing those economies of scale to us, where you're doing this for other centers. And so you adopt it, change the colors, change the theme somewhat, you adopt it very much for exactly what we need, but it's not like you're starting from scratch like we would do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you summed up our entire business model pretty much there. It's just being able to scale that expertise across many people, so you don't have to bear the whole brunt of the payroll. You're getting a fraction of it.
And so far, it seems you've done that well. Again, we haven't doubled our business revenue yet, but you've only
Give it time. Yeah, give it time. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and to touch on your point about the work, it's not from a negative standpoint. It's from a standpoint we know you're busy, but we assume that you're not going to do anything. That's the starting assumption, is that you're too busy to do any of the actual work. We just want to get access, and we'll take care of everything from there. If they want to be involved, great, but it's usually the assumption is that you're not going to have to jump
and that
in.
has worked well for us. That's worked for us, and you guys have really done that. You've done it very well. Where we turn you onto Facebook or Google or whatever it is, and you're off. So
I love it. Awesome. Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to ask about is on the staffing side, because that's a side that we've done some work on. Talk a little bit about that, because that's, I'd say, still the number one issue for people with staffing. Talk a little bit about the experience of us trying to fix that problem.
Yeah, we haven't done a whole lot yet with you, but you've done some, and that has been very, very successful too. We have just I think just about everybody, we've really struggled with staffing. Well, at least every small single business. Again, it's the same type of thing. Economies of scale. We don't have good methods for finding good people. So the tools that we've used just have not been effective. We've used the tools that are out there that everybody uses, and we've brought in people that didn't last, didn't show. I don't know how many people we've hired that didn't even show up. So your approach of, instead of, I don't know how to say it, I guess instead of people targeting us, we're targeting them. You're doing the research to look for specific types of people, not just taking an application from somebody who, obviously we have a lot of walk-ins, but people who are just out there on Indeed that may or may not be good candidates, may or may not really truly be interested in work, but they have to fill it out in order to continue to draw their unemployment. I don't know how many of those we've got. And so you've brought a much higher success rate with the ones you've done for us. You found good candidates for us. And so I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Like you said, it's a different type of candidate where it's probably someone who's already employed is usually who's seeing it.
Yeah.
Because the best employees have jobs.
Right.
That's what we found. And so, but there's a much bigger percentage of people who are willing to make a switch than you'd imagine. And then you just got to get the right opportunity in front of them.
Indeed has just been a disaster for us. Now, I'm not, I don't mean to be bad mouthing Indeed at all. Maybe it worked for some people. It has not at all worked for us. It has brought me some candidates that I've actually hired and had to let go very soon thereafter. And I mean, very soon. More than that, there have been so many candidates that have, accepted the job and then never showed because all the checking the box on unemployment.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So then the last thing, go ahead.
Say this, it also wastes a lot of our time. I mean, all the time that's wasted with all of these candidates, trying to screen them, trying to communicate, some of them never responding. And so the amount of time that we have wasted trying to get candidates is that's negative in and of itself, to say nothing.
Right.
The poor quality that we've received. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And then, just the fact that they're training and they're on the clock, they're being paid and they're not good, or they don't show up and you wasted time interviewing. That's right. Yeah. It's a unseen cost.
Yeah.
There's not really a line on the P&L for that, but it's a huge.
And then you get exposed to unemployment, having to pay employment if you have to move them out. And I had one of those that I had a perfect unemployment record, but one that I found on Indeed, I ended up losing my unemployment case. Person did not at all meet expectations or what they had committed, and I'm on the hook for it now. Yeah,
and you waste some time fighting it, and then paying it.
And then paying it because I lost it.
Yeah. Okay. So then the only other thing I wanted to cover is just what would you say to someone who's considering working with us? What would you tell them? They're on the fence.
Yeah, get off the fence, jump on the forward side of the fence. No, I would say that if the concern is how effective and efficient you guys would be, don't need to worry about it. You guys are very efficient. You give us what you tailor your service to what we need. So it's not like you're saying, hey, we've got to own this whole thing or we're not interested. It's that you're very good at finding how much we want to do and are able to do. And in our case, we've given you lots of latitude to say, please just go do it. Very responsive. When we send something that needs to be changed or a new thing that's implemented, your staff are very, very quick to do it and do it well. That has been very positive. I have absolutely no disappointment with you folks. So, and you guys are fun to work with. Got at least that maybe you've got some creepy people in the back room, but everybody we've been exposed to so far, just professional and people to work with. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really appreciate that, John. Very kind words.